is if the surgery was deemed a success, meaning I could see in the eye, what type of visual difference would I experience between my natural eyesight and having a lens, and which one of the lenses would give me more of a realistic look, so that I wouldn't, coming from somebody who had never seen, obviously with glasses or contact lenses or anything, what kind of visual distortion or visual difference I would see from the surgically repaired eye to the non-surgical eye.
The first challenge, Wesley, with someone like you that I was facing is you had what we call a mature cataract in one eye, your left eye. A mature cataract means your cataract has advanced to such a level it was pearly white. So you were totally blind, could not see even with glasses, nothing. So that brings the first problem into surgery, which is complexity. When you're operating on a mature cataract, the cataract surgery can go haywire during surgery, leading to major complications, number one. Number two, the calculation of your lens itself. Because when we remove your cataract, you have to put a lens inside the eye. The lens has to have a certain power. And having a white cataract, no machine, even though we have all these advanced technologies, can measure you accurately. So there you have to use a lot of your time as a surgeon and experience to come up with a number that you think will reach excellent vision in this eye. The third point here is what I teach all the time to other surgeons is, no matter how complex the case is, don't give up on your commitment for excellence. Meaning, would Wesley have been happy had we done half the job? Yes, because he was coming from total blindness. But the desire we had of taking you to 20/20, despite that white cataract, despite it being in a young person, despite the difficulty of measuring the lens power, and that we had the audacity, if you may, me and you, after discussing for so many hours, that we should go with the high-end technology for distance and near vision, the ReSTor lens. And I think that pretty much sums up the fact that when you're aiming for excellence, putting in all your energy with honesty at the core, results usually turn out pretty good. And so I was expecting both your eyes to work together, and I didn't want you to ever lament in life later on that you didn't use the technology that you could have. And being a photographer that you are, I could share with you on that plane level of diagnosis and discussions. And that's why, if you remember, I actually sent you home to think about it, because the other lens is more expensive, and there is still a national debate about should we do it in one eye, the ReSTor lens. But I have done it in quite a few cases, and I'm a believer that you must go with the best technology, provided you're a good candidate, and yes, you are.
Excellent. Could you explain to me what made my cataract different from a run-of-the-mill cataract that a person of a certain age would get?
First of all, a cataract is nothing more than the opacification of your natural lens that was as clear as a diamond to begin with. So we usually see it in elderly people who have lived long enough that the lens undergoes changes, so it becomes hard and opaque, and now it's called a cataract. With you, your cataract was like a bag of milk, if you may. So opaque yet that you were totally blind, completely, and you had that white look in your eye. At the same time, being a liquid cataract, it makes it very risky, because when you go opening the bag to remove the cataract, it can literally explode. And that damages the bag, and now you don't have a place to put a lens in. And that leads to multiple surgeries down the road, and that's something that you really want to avoid, especially in someone as young as you. So that makes your cataract challenging physically for the surgeon. So the surgery has to be modified, has to be very, very elegantly executed. Two, you have to be prepared for any untoward incident during surgery. Three, like I said, the lens power calculation, which requires even higher effort. Four is taking it still higher like we did. We went for lens technology that was beyond the simple lens. And that makes your case, from a case of a simple cataract to a unique level of heights of expectancy and performance. How do you feel, Wesley, now? I mean, you remember we discussed about your cataract, which obviously needed surgery. Your eye surgeon sent you over, and we also discussed that, yes, I was willing to take this risk with you because you absolutely deserve to see. And then we took this discussion to a next level, where being a photographer, you were interested in the new lens technology that you had researched about. And I remember you came in with your wife, and I told you, please go home and discuss, because there's an added expense to it and stuff. What was going on in your mind?
Well, what was going on in my mind was the fact that I could only do this once. The way I understood it, it wasn't something that, and that was one of the first questions I asked you, is if this, for whatever reason, fails or isn't successful, can we do it again? And the answer I got was no. At that point, because of the fact that I was blind in the eye, I had the option of, or I had I guess, an option of leaving it like that if I wanted to. My opinion was that because I was blind, but it was white, and I could still see, shadow, something passing in front of me, somebody taking a swing at me, or a car coming, or something. That to me was a preferable option to being blind. Period. Dark blind. That being said, I still felt I had. Obviously, I was 36, I think, when we started talking in here. So at that point, I've still got, in theory, a decent amount of time left to enjoy seeing if I had that option. The difficulty of the surgery that you just mentioned, notwithstanding, I then had to have what I viewed as a functional and a lifestyle option of what I was going to do. Was I going to take the monofocal lens and be committed to wearing glasses for the rest of my life, which I'd never had to before, or was I going to? Which would be the only option, I think, technically. So, or was I going to take the risk? I'm going to assume there was an apparent risk in getting the multifocal lens. So that was, what was the question? that was the
pretty much, yes,
yeah.
Right.
So that was what I had.
That was going on. Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And again, it's a privilege, Wesley, and being a teacher to eye surgeons, I constantly analyze my results and try not to ever get cocky about the fact that we've had such tremendous success. That's why it's fun when someone like you, with the amount of knowledge you have, being a professional photographer, your understanding of the lens, because the eye is a camera to begin with, is this opportunity where I can hear from you, what thoughts were in your mind, what I was thinking, and how we both thought through this, and here we are landed at 20/20 vision. And I always also want to learn, could I have done anything better?
Right.
So that's always a question I like to keep open. And truly, just seeing you back in your profession, asking you about these things, about, are you hindered with the camera anymore? Is it that you have to stop your profession, Wesley? So how's the camera been for you now?
The funny thing about the camera, and this is something I haven't mentioned to you yet, is I have a friend who wears those grocery store reading glasses with whatever magnification power. And I'm now completely interested in glasses and the whole concept because I've never had to deal with it before. And he was reading some magazine. I said, let me see those. And I put them on, and when everything enlarged in my good eye, everything snapped into direct focus in this eye, close up, and I'd never experienced anything like that before. And it was when the surgery was maybe 2 months old. It was a very strange sensation because everything was still a little difficult to deal with, and all of a sudden, bang, it was in focus. The back of the camera has what's called a diopter on it. So when you go through a viewfinder on a modern camera, it has a diopter, and it's designed to eliminate the use of glasses. So it's basically the way I understand it is
a lens that you dial in.
That's right. It's a focus magnifier. Because of that, when I put my dominant eye, which was my faulty eye, my dominant eye back to the camera, I can see everything perfectly through the camera because you're seeing, even though you're seeing the way I understand it psychologically, even though you're seeing something that goes out of focus when you're going through the aperture, you're actually viewing it on a 2D plane.
Correct.
So in your mind's eye, you're seeing it on a 2D plane. So even if my eye isn't properly responding to focus fields or depth focus in the right way, when I put the camera back up to it, it's just like nothing ever happened.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
That's kind of an interesting.
That was also my concern, Wesley, is that doing all these things, even though we did our due diligence and stuff, was I wanted to make sure that professionally I don't limit you in any form. So it's great to know that you're back with professional photography. And again, that talks volumes about this technology, Wesley, about multifocal lenses and the future direction for cataract surgery. Nobody who has cataracts today should be wearing glasses after surgery, as long as their eye is healthy. So, and if we can do it in patients with high demands like yours, I think that's testimony to the fact that this is the future.
Excellent.
So again, it's been an honor, Wesley.
Pleasure's mine.
Congratulations. Excellent.